From Sky.com, Kimmel fired for lack of talent, Trump says as Obama decries government coercion. Kimmel used his show on Monday to criticize Donald Trump for his response to the assassination of Kirk, among other things. Now, Trump's not wrong. The New York Post says Jimmy Kimmel's ratings were plummeting before ABC suspended him for Charlie Kirk comments. They say Nielsen data showed sharp summer declines and a year-long slide that leaves him trailing late-night rivals such as Fox News' Greg Gutfeld and Colbert. According to monthly Nielsen figures, Jimmy Kimmel Live dropped to just 1.1 million total viewers in August, down 43% from January's 1.9 million. His August household rating, 0.35, marked the weakest showing of the year. The Advertiser, get this. The Advertiser coveted 18 to 49 demo also cratered. Kimmel averaged only 129,000 viewers in that bracket in August. Holy crap! Off from 212,000. Let me take this time to brag that while I was sick most of August and unable to work, the show, hosted by Phil Labonte and with some special guests towards the end of the month, was still averaging around 500,000 in the key demo. And don't get me wrong, where network television used to be, that's small. That's very small. Jimmy Kimmel at 129,000 viewers. Yo, I think I got a video of a cat on my Instagram that does better than that. That's not a joke. I literally, it's a video of a cat and it's looking like this.
Kimmel's the joke.
And it says when it's Tuesday, but you've already given it your all, and the cat's like just super tired, and it plays that song from Enya, who can say, and it's got like 500,000 views. So I can post a cat meme and have a bigger show than Jimmy Kimmel. That's why he got booted.
That's probably right. It's a lousy show. He's aging out of the key demo anyway. I mean, I think if you look, his audience has moved on. The new audience isn't interested in him. And, I mean, you go back to Letterman. Letterman was hilarious. And then Letterman got mean and nasty and became hyper-political, which nobody really needs to see on this type of program. And I think it's one of the reasons that people are abandoning network TV in general.
It's kind of crazy.
He loves crying on the show, doesn't he? Yeah. He's really the worst when it comes to the emotional outbursts.
This is the one gun incident that he hadn't cried.
He is psychologically unstable, needs help. That much cannot be denied. He has cried on camera way too many times. I think he gets a thrill out of forcing people to witness his vulnerability. So that's the first reason why he, in my opinion, is the worst of the late night hosts. But also
if a big liberal had been shot,
but also because of who he used to be. And I'm not shaming or saying that he should have remorse or regrets over the Man Show, but it's really disturbing that Jimmy Kimmel then can be the same man as Jimmy Kimmel now. That doesn't make sense to me. It's not supposed to.
With no consequence?
He wants us to just forget about who he was in the 2000s.
When other people are not allowed to turn the page in their lives. They get completely canceled. No new opportunity to reinvent themselves.
That's what would have been a cancellation. If someone went and clip farmed from the Man Show, posted a thread on X, and everyone's up in arms about how he was such a chauvinist, and then people are calling for his show to get pulled, right? That would be cancel culture.
People have done it, but it doesn't impact the left.
He didn't get canceled for doing blackface. He doesn't get canceled.
Don't make us pull up the photos. Neither of us want that, Jimmy.
Because he's on the left.
I think the crying on camera, too, is a virtue signal to awfuls because they love that. If you want to get rich, affluent, white, liberal women, they love it when you cry for them. I think that's a virtue signal for.
Is it like a sadism thing? They like seeing
they
him
like
in
making
pain?
men cry. They derive pleasure from trying to make weak men cry. I think Bob Iger here is not letting a good crisis go to waste. So while it's convenient, he's getting rid of Kimmel. The medium is dying. Late night shows are dying.
But I don't think they're going to get rid of. He wasn't
doing very well before that, regardless. But
they're going to just give him an on-ramp to come back. They're already hinting at it now, that they want it to be possible to bring back the Jimmy Kimmel Live.
He's going to go the Don Lemon route very soon.
The Wall Street Journal has this story. Basically, it was advertisers. It wasn't just Nexstar and Sinclair. Advertisers had called who had already purchased slots. And let me tell you guys, last week, when the tragic news broke, and we were all kind of suffering through this. Not like we had it worse compared to the family or those who actually were there and had to deal with it. Don't get me wrong. I was asked, "Hey, are we going to do ad reads?" And I was like, "No way." And it's like, listen, tonight we have very, very awful news to report about someone we knew and the nightmare that is emerging in this country. So from that day, the rest of the week, we did not do ad reads on IRL. But there's another reason, and it's important to say, I know maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but what brand wants to be the brand sponsorship of the death of a beloved personality? Mm-hmm. So it was like when CNN ran that commercial from Chili's or whatever. You guys remember this?
Yes.
It was like air raid sirens going off in Ukraine and bombs were like about to drop. And then all of a sudden it does a side-by-side where a guy's shaking his butt and singing about drinking beers or something.
Yep.
And everyone was like, this is the worst thing you could have ever done. Imagine being an advertiser who already bought ad space on Jimmy Kimmel's show. You hear him say this and you're going, get my ad off that show. So they all call ABC and say, do not run my ad on that man's show right now. I don't want to deal with the boycott. This is the lesson. This is the Bud Light effect.
But if ABC was smart, they would have told him, hey, don't even talk about it. Give people a distraction from this horrible news. Run the show. Be funny.
They were
be
smart.
Amusing.
They were smart. Jimmy Kimmel said no.
Yeah, that's right.
He was going to double down.
That's right.
He said he was the reporting is that he was going to attack Trump supporters again. Yeah. And they were probably just like, okay, this man is unhinged. It sounds like, I'm going to give you my personal opinion. I don't think the executives went, Jimmy, we don't think you did anything wrong. So we think you should go on with your show. And then Jimmy goes, then I'm going to double down. Well, hold on there, Jimmy. We don't think that's a good idea. For your own good, we're going to stop your show. There's no way in the span of a couple hours, they politely and calmly said, your show won't be aired. Sorry, Jimmy. I really doubt it. I think they probably said, do not do it. And he said, I'm going to do it. And they said, don't do it. And he goes, I'm going to do it anyway. And they said, Jimmy, I swear to God, if you go out there and that's your intent, you will not do this show. And he said, I will not have you stop me. I'm willing to bet it was much more contentious. And Jimmy, listen, it's actually quite simple. The reporting says that they wanted to bring the temperature down. If Jimmy Kimmel came out with an apology, everything would have been fine. Jimmy Kimmel was going to double down and was refusing to apologize. That sounds to me like he argued with the executive saying, I refuse to apologize. So they said, then no more show for you.
He probably didn't even have to apologize. He probably just had to do a comedy show without a lot of slamming Trump supporters. Seriously, that's all you have to do. I mean, do we have to infuse everything with politics? I do politics. I did a talk show for 8 years. It was all politics. People would call and say, why are you obsessed with politics? I'm like, it's a political talk show. I'm not doing a comedy show. If I'm doing a comedy show, then I've got a lot of other stuff I can go work from. I don't get it.
If Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, or whoever, these Seth Meyers, if their comedy shows were actually just cultural comedy, you know who's really good at it? Ryan Long. Ryan Long's great at it. He'd have 1 million in the ratings. He'd have 1 million in the key demo. You know how I know? You want to know how I know, guys? Because Kill Tony does. Because Kill Tony every Monday night does his stream and gets like 1 to 2 million viewers. Yeah. And it's largely key demographic. Now, they talk about politics quite a bit, but to be fair, it's a stand-up show. It's not an over talk show. But I am telling you, if you had Tony Hinchcliffe hosting one of these late night shows and he was willing to dish it in any direction, you'd have 1 million. I'd be watching it
evenly.
I wouldn't say evenly. I would say fairly.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be evenly. Like if they have a preference to have jokes about conservatives, but they weren't always malicious about it, and they had some jokes about Democrats or progressives or whatever, I think that you'd see a lot less vitriol. But it was a significantly fewer amount of people that are so upset about Jimmy Kimmel and the way that he behaves. But it was always in one direction, and it was always malicious. It wasn't meant to be in fun. There was no, we're all laughing here. It was intended to be insults directed at one group of people all the time.
Right.
Can we just make things a little bit interesting? Well, we'll get that in a little bit, in a quick second. Sorry. Let me read a little bit more from this article. They say that Jimmy Kimmel's salary was reportedly $15 million to $16 million a year, with some outlets noting the bonuses can push his annual earnings above $20 million. How? Where's that money coming from? Now, let me just say, I run a business here at Timcast. I know all of our numbers, where the money comes from, where the money goes. And based on the viewership that we get, which is much, much larger, we do all right. We do all right. But there's ain't no way anybody who works here is going to be getting $20 million a year. So I got questions. To be fair, $1 million in the ratings per night, depending on who you're selling to, Boomer's got a lot of money. Most of those viewers are Boomers. And his key demo ratings are no good. The scary reality here, I guess, is that the key demo ain't the key demo no more. 18 to 49-year-olds ain't got any money. So if you want to sell the product and you want to see that actually land, you really do want to be targeting 60-year-olds because Boomers are the only one with any real capital.
Well, also, as you've pointed out, there are less of the 18 to 29-year-olds in general.
That's exactly.
The Boomers, there are just less of them to go around. And his salaries, not even to mention the salaries of all of these people working on his show, which is probably, it might be around 100 people total. I don't know, maybe hundreds. If we get to the administrative bloat territory, it's probably hundreds of people whose livelihoods depend on this show. And Jimmy Kimmel just covered that in gasoline and threw the match.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.